Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Summer 2019. I'm Atlas. I'm stepping in for Brendan Valdez. He has some important things to do today, so we've traded today for tomorrow, and I certainly lucked out when it came to the games. Today's matches look absolutely insane, and I have LS with me on the journey as always.
I mean, I'm looking forward to today, but I'm a little bit upset that you're ruining tomorrow. We had some truly special matches.
Yeah, and I know that you probably just wanted to talk about Pokemon instead of those, and now we've got some matches that we actually want to talk about, so our synergy has been entirely wasted. But to be honest, I wouldn't have been here today if that was the case, so I, selfishly, am extraordinarily happy. I hope Brendan's having a good day as well. So he's going to be coming in tomorrow, but here we are, and Kingzone versus Afreeca to start things off, followed by Sandbox versus SKT. We need to talk about that intro as well. Yeah. Super cool that we finally got the full one, but it was all about SKT being on their throne. The throne is not 6th place, LS. That is not where it should be. So we'll see whether SKT can turn things around against Sandbox, who certainly are an up-and-coming squad, taking down Griffin in that 2-1, beating their Sona twice in that series. And we saw what that Sona composition can do yesterday against Hanwha Life. That was not close.
Sandbox actually matches up pretty well against SK Telecom. They are one of the more aggressive teams inside of the LCK that they like to get things rolling. They like to blitz it. And also Summit is just so powerful of a player up there in top lane. But for the initial series of tonight, Kingzone, a lot of people are saying that thus far they're looking like the most dominant team in LCK currently.
Yeah.
And they were the team that we talked about at the end of spring. I said this last time on the cast with you, I believe. They looked like the second best team in the league at that time. Right now, they look like monsters, and we'll see if Afreeca can actually do anything.
Well, Afreeca are also standing up as well, taking down SKT themselves. It was a 2-1 for them, a 2-1 for Kingzone as well in their most recent matches. 2-game winning streak. Afreeca is awakened versus the undefeated team Kingzone. Junglers on MVP first with 300 points tied. Tough Guy Dread versus Royal Roader Cuzz. Of course, he Royal Roaded on his first split on Longju Gaming before he took a second row seat to Peanut in the Kingzone days to follow. So really exciting seeing Cuzz really come into his own here in the LCK. Alpaca hunting dog Ucal. I want to hunt Deft. Not yet, too early, says Deft in response. We'll see what they're going to be able to actually do though, because Ucal, he's been certainly standing up there, but Deft is no slouch. This guy has been epically consistent since the very inception of Deft on Kingzone.
Yeah, I mean, Deft is one of the best AD carries in the world, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with, as he is one of the main carries of Kingzone, and he's able to do quite a lot, and he's also able to have the ability to play different types of champions. I mean, we saw his Sona.
Yeah, we did.
Which Sona
Which I don't think we're going to see again.
Yeah, I don't think that we will get to see that here tonight by any means. But I'm interested to see how Afreeca is going to actually try to approach the Kingzone matchup here tonight, as Ucal, interestingly enough, has actually been showing up again.
Absolutely.
He disappeared in spring, but
he took some time off. It felt like he took some time off. He was sitting on the bench. We're going to have a look at some of these replays here. The kick from Dread, absolutely amazing. It was so good, we actually missed it. Both Papa and I missed it on the cast. We actually thought that Skarner just went the wrong direction and he threw his lantern in the wrong spot, but no, it was just a god-tier kick. And Hanwha really had nothing that they could do against the Afreeca Freecs. They were just too strong. Ucal looked brilliant on this Yasuo, and being able to demonstrate that you have all of these different combos in your back pocket, including the Gragas Yasuo that we know can be flexed between the bot side and the mid jungle, is just so powerful. We've spoken about how important flex picks are, but flex roles that can really change identity in a composition are certainly how you're going to be winning games here in Kingzone. Are another example. They've got Aatrox in any role you want to put him in.
And I mean, another thing about Afreeca is Kiin continues to win counter matchups.
Yeah.
He seems to be the only top laner in LCK that can do it so consistently. And it is definitely one of the advantages Afreeca has over some other teams, especially in the way that the current meta is shaped up. And right now we're taking a look at, I mean, I'm almost impressed.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Emperor's Divide, isn't it?
Yeah.
I called it a 5-man. It was basically a 5-man, even though there was a stopwatch to stop it from truly being one. That certainly was enough in my book, and an incredible performance in Naehyun's debut game against SKT, we're pretty sure. Yeah, just really, really good stuff. But this is the matchup that is the most important. I'm really glad that LCK got it right today. Dread versus Cuzz is going to be huge. Cuzz being touted as the best jungler in the LCK at the moment, but Dread is hot on his heels. And if you guys were watching the LEC last night, I peeked in on a few games. Kindred certainly doing some pretty disgusting things in the hands of the Misfits. And Dread has been spamming some Kindred over the last few days and has been a notable Kindred player throughout his career. I wonder whether we're going to be seeing that one here today.
Kindred, I think, is a jungler that is really undervalued right now inside of the current meta, especially because it's able to be proactively picked, but it's also one of the best answers to Aatrox, which is a current very popular pick.
And also pretty important in this matchup because you could imagine Kingzone going to be picking it away from Kiin, trying to flex it around if they manage to get their hands onto it. But the first team we're going to introduce to take to the stage is going to be the Afreeca Freecs. Nofei right there. You remember his emotion when this team managed to take down SK Telecom. Things have only gotten better from there. This is an Afreeca Freecs that fell down against Griffin in their first series. It was a 1-2 though. It was a series that Griffin certainly had to work for, and since then it's been all good news. A 2-1 against SKT, and then a very swift 2-0 against floundering Harmwell Live. But this is the team on everyone's lips. Kingzone Dragon X, we don't need to talk about any substitutions. They just straight up don't have any. These are the players that we've got, and you can see Acorn behind them as well. I feel like ever since he got into this squad, things were just looking from better to even better for Kingzone.
Yeah.
Just really feels like he's added an extra layer of cohesion to this team, and it didn't matter that Pawn had to step down even though he was playing so well. Naehyun's picked up those reins and then some.
I actually like him so much more as a player than Pawn, especially in the lineup. He seems so stable and capable of playing so many things, and one of the things I was trying to get to during last cast with Afreeca was that Naehyun has a bit of a poor reputation due to his history in esports with his win-loss record and whatnot, but he has been consistently 700, 800 LP on Korea for quite some time, playing a very diverse amount of champions. And so he's definitely no slouch, and I think a lot of people were sleeping on him as a player, so he's been doing quite well. We'll have to see how he fares against Ucal here today, though.
Yeah, and Ucal has really been stepping up his play as well. I mean, both of these players are sort of the Azirs in the LCK that make the champion look good. I know Azir is a bit of a meme globally at the moment. Not a lot of other regions have been able to make him work. However, if Naehyun's piloting it, you're just seeing big plays left, right, and center. And it wasn't just that final Emperor's Divide. It was Emperor's Divides throughout the game that managed to put Kingzone ahead against SKT. It was bait and switches. It was really, really fun play for these guys. Fans in the audience here, having a look around, there aren't too many empty seats here in Lol Park, and it is still quite early on a Sunday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Sorry, Saturday. I'm just used to being here on a Sunday.
You were so excited to be here.
Yeah.
On a Sunday.
I just wanted it to be Sunday.
I know.
Yeah, where's Damwon versus Junior?
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're extremely excited to be on this desk for this auspicious match. Will it be the Afreeca Freecs able to take this one against Kingzone, or can Kingzone continue their dominance here in the LCK?
Don't let me see that draft.
Oh, no. I think as far as like the two teams that have had basically only good drafts, it's these two. Kingzone, though, they had that one standout. That Kha'Zix draft did not look super good against SKT. It felt like they got outdone on the red side.
Kha'Zix is really interesting. But also, let's see how they're going to... Whoa, this is interesting. Sylas and Xayah now are the two opening bans. And now Sivir, Afreeca really trying to pinch Deft.
And also the most popular picks at the moment have been the Xayah, Sivir, and Ezreal.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And Deft is probably the best Ezreal player in Korea.
Yep, and probably one of the best all-time Sivir players.
Jax.
And that is an odd ban.
These bans are definitely targeted at each other's teams rather than against the current standing of the meta. Lee Sin, this means Yuumi, Aatrox, Ryze. So many champions.
Sejuani is the hugest one here, though. Rascal can now pick away the Aatrox, but what they're playing the Lux Yuumi Dosido right now. And if Afreeca don't pick Lux in the next round, that means that Kingzone can do it freely. They can pick up the Yuumi if they want to. And I wonder whether they lock in an AD carry to get that bottom lane sorted out for Deft and TusiN right now, or do they just pick away the Lux immediately? Because TusiN has been prioritizing that champion. The Aatrox, no surprise, because just takes the Karthus. So, and that is a pick that can work into the Sejuani.
Yeah, Karthus is able to take over the game. I've been very adamant that he's the best jungler for
but 50 damage off his ult.
50 damage off. You can feel it sometimes. You really can early on. So we'll have to see what ends up happening here and how much more physical damage they include into their comp. Now with the Aurelia locked in, I'm assuming that it's going to try to locate and find the Aatrox.
Sona is available. And Afreeca needs 3 bans to get rid of anything that's going to pair with it. And Kingzone can put together a Sona Tahm Kench, Sona Galio, or Sona Taric lane if they so choose. They're not going to decide to. It will be the Nico locked in.
This is really interesting because Nico...
And this is
Aurelia
Kingzone picking
blasts,
their own champions.
Yeah.
Right now.
Aurelia blasts Aatrox and Nico. So now Afreeca has their pick of the litter. They get to actually decide what they want to try to do. There's so many options still available. With Ryze still being on the table, I would be really surprised if Kingzone doesn't pinch the Ryze, because Ryze also handles Aatrox and Nico. So feels like Kingzone's picking themselves a little bit poorly right now. They're showing their hand face up.
Feels like they're picking blind though, right? It's not like they're responding to Afreeca's comp. They're
no,
just
they're not.
picking
Yeah,
the
they're
champions
picking what
that they want.
To play, right.
And in fact, individually, by the looks of things here, with the Aatrox definitely going top, Cuzz definitely taking that Karthus to the jungle, and Naehyun almost definitely taking the Nico. Talia is going to be the ban here against Ucal, of course, historically one of his best picks ever. And when he made his debut, he was basically known as a Talia one-trick, but that is not pinching the Ryze. Final ban here is probably just going to be another support, right? Ezreal will go down.
You want to take away another physical damage champion. Karthus wants to have as little magic damage on his team as possible so that the opponents aren't incentivized to get magic resist. So those Dark Harvest stacks, everything can keep doing a lot of damage. As I say that, Kingzone decides to lock in another AP champion, and not only an AP champion, another one with a massive amount of CC, which is going to incentivize Mercury Treads, which is going to hurt Karthus' damage.
But this could be interesting because this could be doing a lot of different things now. The Morgana gets locked in. TusiN is a notable Pyke player. He could pick that one in that Morgana Pyke lane that we saw debuted by Effort and Bang on SKT last year. So this is still a flexible pick, waiting for last pick to decide on whether TusiN's going to be playing that or all sorts of other things. Ucal thinking about a Zed now for the mid lane. Of course they know. Hands pretty face up here for Kingzone.
Ryze. No, not Jace. That's not... All right.
All right. Jace going to be locked in. Still flex picks. Aurelia and the Jace.
Next week.
But they don't really need flex picks right now. I think it's an odd end to a really clean beginning to the draft from Afreeca.
Yeah. They had everything lined up for them, and it was going very, very well. And to see the Jace is a little bit surprising, but I suppose if he goes into the poke kind of Jace, and he goes,
there we go. This is what we wanted.
There we go.
The Morg Pyke in the bottom lane.
So I'm assuming maybe it's Nico Pyke. That would be really surprising, but Morgana Pyke does definitely make more sense. I'm curious if this is going to be AD or AP Nico. If it's AP Nico, I feel like this is definitely a little bit of a draft blunder, because now Aurelia, Sejuani, Jace, everyone's going to be able to get Mercury Treads. They're going to have so much more magic resist against the Karthus, and because the excessive amount of magic damage, it's so easy now for Aurelia to itemize Wit's End. Jace can even get Maw of Malmortius. He can even go Edge of Night if he wants a lethality item. And I feel like Kingzone drafted around their Karthus pretty poorly. They're definitely choosing a lot of champions that they want to play. And we'll have to see if the comfort ends up working out for them. But I do have to say, Afreeca, they started off Phase 1 really strong. I feel like they ended Phase 2 pretty poorly.
Yeah, I think that the Jace really stands out as being what could be a mistake. Ucal wanting to take it into the mid lane in order to deal with the Nico that he's up against. That is going to be his reasoning there. But Aurelia versus Aatrox, this is where you look at Kiin and you think it barely matters who he's up against because Keen's just pretty much going to win any matchup. And he's into the Aatrox. It's a good one for the Aurelia.
It's definitely going to be a nightmare situation for Kingzone and trying to manage that. So the one thing that they do have going for it is Cuzz is on red side, so Karthus does love his golems and his wraiths, so he does prefer to be top-centric, and Morgana and Pyke should be fine on their own. So it does mean that maybe he can aid something for Rascal in top lane. But if this team composition falls behind, there's no coming back.
Yeah.
Karthus will do 0 damage, level 6 to 11.
And also, this is another Frostmancy bottom lane that's pretty easy to pull off the Kingzone as well. So they will have some extra money down there. Probably not going to be Kleptomancy taken by the Morgana, but see what happens as we get into game number 1. Already, the draft's so interesting between both of these teams. Skybox looking good as well.
Yeah. Really, really like that. Karthus is in mid, by the way.
He is?
Now Morgana.
I see
Mystique.
what you're doing there. Yeah. Oh,
what if
that's what
they make
need.
a Mystique Nico skit? See, we're starting the day off right.
Yeah, we are.
We're talking about X-Men. Did you see the new X-Men?
No, I didn't. I heard that it's absolute trash.
Okay.
That's what I've heard.
And quite the I would use to describe it, but
what would you use? Saregi?
That,
by the way, guys,
Sleggy.
is trash in...
Sleggy.
Yeah, that's trash in Korean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, of course, so I don't have an actual opinion.
It's okay.
But I just heard that was the word on the street.
You know what?
I just didn't really bother. I actually went and watched the new Korean movie instead. Have we already had a conversation about that?
Parasite?
Yeah.
Yeah, Key Sanctuary?
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely
okay.
amazing. So good.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the opening route. So, Cuzz is actually going to open with a counter jungle of Sejuani's blue side, and because Karthus is so fast, he should be able to actually get over to his right-hand side jungle, and this is a little bit of a coin flip Sejuani's going for. He's going to path through mid. He's able to get to... Yeah, he's able to get to his blue buff before Sej can actually complete it, helping Deft shove in so that... Or Naehyun.
Yeah.
I just got Nico'd.
Yeah, you got Nico'd real
I got
hard.
Nico'd.
We'll have to keep a tally, guys, in Twitch chat. Just let us know how many Nicos we do today. There probably will be a few.
All right.
And you can't blame us. She's Nico.
And now
Dread's going to come in and find Cuzz.
Dread wants to flip a coin. I love this when pro players do this. Oh, this is we're gonna decide the game here in 3 minutes.
All right, well, Naehyun's gonna shoot his way forward. Okay, that's a good flip back onto Senan already. The ignite down onto TusiN as that's an empowered shock blast. Tons of damage as TusiN is going to be okay. The deep water dive keeping him out of vision range. Senan doesn't fall, and I don't even know where the blue buff went, as that binding was so good from Deft, and first blood goes to TusiN. A disaster for the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah.
Blue buff wasn't even taken.
Blue buff wasn't even taken, so Cuzz is now going to reset his blue buff, and he's going to go around the world all the way up to top lane golems. This Karthus is so far ahead right now. Look at the CS differential between Karthus and Sejuani. She's so much slower at clearing. Now, one of the upsides is that it looks like Cuzz actually wants to do wolves into wraiths, red golems, and then potentially top crab and offset the pressure in top lane. So maybe Dread can get right side scuttle crab. But this is a really big coin flip, and it's really sad to see when pro teams are willing to do this, because you just potentially risk the entire game trying to do this. And this is why Karthus is so powerful. With his clear speed, he's able to get through mid lane, help with the mid lane shove so that Naehyun has the priority, able to come over and help out with this, whereas Ucal can potentially lose out more. And because Deft and TusiN are getting shoved in anyway, they're able to also be there as well. Karthus is just light years ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, can we call that jungle route the Daft Punk?
The what?
The Daft Punk, around the world.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah?
Karthus does it a lot.
All right.
When he starts queuing on the move. Yeah, okay, so there's a 33 CS lead in the jungle right now.
That's pretty huge. You don't need to be a mathematician to understand that that's going to be a huge problem here for the Afreeca Freecs. And that's only going to continue to get worse. As far as snowballing a farm lead is concerned, Karthus pretty damn good at that. And so we'll see what Afreeca's response is going to be. As you can see, top side of the map, things going fantastically well for Kiin. No surprises there, but bottom lane, the thing I want to draw your attention to, guys, is that aiming had flash available. that whole time. He saw that binding. That was his death. He knew that was coming, chose not to flash. We'll see whether they can actually get something from this lane, because I assume that they were just fearing the fact that a follow-up gank would be so easy bottom side that Aiming knew that he needed to keep that to have any sort of pressure in the laning phase.
One of the things I don't like is that Cuzz isn't just allowing one small jungle minion to survive. And so because of this right now, Dread's actually getting a rubber banded wolf camp. It's level 4 as he takes it, so he gets bonus experience. And in addition, Cuzz, yes, he just stole away a rubber banded raptor camp, which wouldn't have really mattered all that much for Dread because it would have been level 4 as well. But he didn't leave a small raptor. So he's not doing as much as he can to add insult to injury. He is getting this mountain break here at 5.5 minutes. Unless he loses
wall of
fight.
pain, Dread. Is going to be able to get in there in smite range? No, it's going to be taken by Cuzz. Really good timing as Ucal bounces forward. The pike already dead. Deathify will be available because no ultimate and isn't going to be able to find the lay wastes either. It is going to be a 2-for-1, but that's in favor of Afreeca after the Drake went over to King Zone.
Karthus getting that dragon is quite good. Senan not able to find any CC right there. Fiendish Codex now picked up for Cuzz.
Ooh, flash out of the ultimate, but Kiin.
Okay,
Flash
Kiin.
for ult, you'll take that trade any day of the week.
Look at the CS differential. There is no better top laner in the... He is actually just worlds apart from everyone else.
Naehyun is going to be able to land the snare, but Ucal has himself the Hex Drinker to keep him alive. Actually, all he has, no corrupting pod here for Ucal on his chase. He's looking to try and smash this lane, but as you can see right now, as it stands, Naehyun's doing absolutely fine. Has a couple of stacks on his Dark Seals. We have a look at this one more time.
And you can see...
He's a body right now.
Yeah, so...
Puts himself in the way.
Cuzz is able to end up getting the dragon. TusiN ends up going down, but they're able to at least trade. Dark Harvest stack picked up as well for Karthus, and then unable to do any more damage right there. Not the most synergy with Naehyun's snare. Ended up missing one of his lay wastes. And now Cuzz level 6, Dread still level 5, and he's going to be able to steal away the blue and also get his blue. Really bizarre teleport from Atrox.
Oh, I think it's just Rascal trying to continue flexing on this jungle position. And Cuzz, he's going to be able to take that one as well. Gets a leash for the Karthus, and we know exactly where the money's going this game.
Yeah.
It's going into Cuzz. And I want to go back to a point that you made in the draft, talking about the damage variety here on King Zone's side, talking about the fact that, you know, they can itemize so easily into magic resist. I actually think that's really dangerous, because the AoE damage potential out of an Aatrox and a Pike and the reset potential between both of those champions is incredibly terrifying. So they will need to focus on some form of armor as well. It's actually a very difficult question to ask what you really want to itemize into if you're Afreeca Freecs right now in a defensive setting.
Yeah, because Karthus is already so accelerated that if you start getting magic resist, you do compromise some of your lane states. And because of the fact that he's unnaturally accelerated, as you're mentioning, it does make it quite awkward to decide on current items. We see that Ucal actually did already pick up a Hex Drinker, but that's also because he's against AP Nico in the mid lane, so he's going to get a lot of benefit out of that. Rascal getting clapped a little bit.
Yeah, it does you know, get some knock-ups here onto Kiin. Wants to avoid this turret plate falling for free in the 1v1, but he's going to be able to deal with that minion wave pretty effectively. Ninja Tabi rushed, of course, the classic answer to the Aurelia, especially in her current form. So you'll lose this control ward, and control topside is something that King Zone knew they were never going to have, but it's good to see that Kiin is doing exactly what it says on the tin. It's Ucal going to get pop blossomed, but taking a lot of damage is Naehyun. Not a lot of mana as the Pike comes in, doesn't land it. Bone Skewer, not good. King Zone won't be able to find the kill onto the Jace.
And that was a really close call. If the Bone Skewer ends up landing, Ucal will surely die. He doesn't have flash to get him out of that. Karthus is right there. And so definitely crisis avoided for Afreeca. But so far, I mean, they're stabilizing pretty much everywhere. So even though Karthus was getting really far ahead, the laners are actually doing a pretty poor job of playing around Requiem and allowing him to be enabled with it. And this can be one of the frustrating things as a Karthus player. Yes, he's 2 levels ahead right now, almost 2.5.
The thing that I find really scary, though, is the fact that King Zone are happy to scale with this composition. We know how a team fight's supposed to look for these guys. We understand how they're going to be able to do it in the late game, and you know, fighting around Baron pits, things like that, is going to be pretty fantastic for this Kingzone squad if they have any parity. Kiin now, see whether he does find the stun. He does. Cuzz moves on in. Wall of Pain is going to tag up Kiin, but he's looking for it. Is it going to be Rascal being able to land this kill? Cuzz looking for the lay waste, finds the second one, but Rascal's not going to dive forward. Dread turns up Requiem right in amongst everything as Cuzz is going to go down. That was a very strange maneuver, and maybe just a fat finger. Oh my goodness.
I came pretty close to dropping an F-bomb, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I mean, Cuzz was trying to, he just pressed the button at the wrong time. Maybe he just thought he was dead already. I'm real confused. Because if he waits until he dies right there, that might be 2 kills. Because Rascal can potentially get a reset. But
I get it. I get what you're doing right now. You're squeezing in a Pokemon reference, right? He's confused. He hit himself with his own move.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, he hurt himself in confusion.
I like it.
Or maybe they just don't have the gym badges to get this one done, as TusiN doesn't find that Bone Skewer. Arctic Assault, though, now on cooldown. TusiN doesn't get the stun. Shelly's going to reset. Shock Blast doesn't find the mark. Kingzone look a little bit flustered, though, especially that play from Cuzz. He's still 30 CS in the lead. He's still in a great spot as the Carthus. Shelly is now going to be taken down. They've only missed 1 Shelly so far in all of their matches.
Wow, this is really forced. Yeah. And they don't even have Requiem.
Depth charge comes in. Black Shield is going to be used onto Cuzz. Huge ult into the backline. Pop Blossom trying to get the work done, but Senan's going to survive. For the moment, Cuzz takes down the Aurelia, though. Deftify passive going to be available. Deft goes into his stopwatch. Really nice use of that one as the Varus does fall down. That Bone Skewer is going to be good. Naehyun flashing forward, looking for Senan. Doesn't find the Q. Dread finds himself back in the fight. Not a lot of teammates, but low health bars. Naehyun gets it. Finds the Q. Q is now TusiN. Another Bone Skewer just to make sure Dread can't get anything done. Somehow the team fight salvaged from Kingzone.
Yeah, and it was looking so good for Afreeca, so I'm hoping that we actually get a replay to talk about it. I'm not sure what Dread was doing at the very end there, as Naehyun looked like he... all right, we're going back to this replay first.
We need to see this one again.
So Wall of Pain comes out. Lay Waste is actually hitting, but Rascal and friends can't actually end up doing enough damage. And right here, I don't know what he's thinking by casting it. I don't think Aurelia was in death range. And it looks like actually Runic Echo wasn't even up because it procs later on Sejuani, so I'm not entirely sure what was going on. Now,
we're going to go back to live as a bit of a tussle, but it's going to be a blast cone for the disengage here between Kingzone and Afreeca. Yeah, a bit of a weird transition there. 200 gold is the lead, though, as we're fighting over a Mountain Drake. Kiin's going to move in. He's rotated all the way down. No teleport available from Rascal. This should be Afreeca taking their own Mountain Drake. They will even that one up as Requiem going to be cast before the fight starts. Shapeshift is going to be there. The Dragon does go to Afreeca, but now they've found themselves stuck in the pit. They're buying time for Rascal's teleport. Finally, it comes up and they're looking for this one. TusiN wants to find this. There it is, the ultimate! Dives right forward. He gets the reset. That's the double kill. And Kingzone were waiting for that exact moment.
And that's a really big victory for them right now. They're going to be able to offset a lot of the tempo in most of the lanes, and Karthus, he's going to be able to transition back into farming at this point.
Another snare. TusiN does a lot of damage. Super Soak is going to land. TusiN not going to find it. He's going to fall down as Afreeca have turned this one. It's a good stun onto Naehyun in the backside. He gets snared, but the ultimate's going to be there. The Q reset was just too beautiful from Kiin. Locks down the Nico. Not enough Wall of Pains are going to be available for this as Deft now fighting with aiming. We've got 2 Super Soakers on this squad, but that's the Dark Binding that aiming needed to avoid. Now the ultimate's in from Deft. Dredge line from Senan to try and buy him some time. Good snare. Flash forward. There's the depth charge. Black Shield still going to be there. And I think he may have needed that extra Q damage to finish off the kill. In the meantime, Afreeca are also taking down Shelly, and the ultimate's good onto Rascal. Finds himself the ult as he wants to get rid of Dread. Does find it! The reset's going to come in here as now Shelly joins the fight, and Kingzone may have just turned it on the top side.
And this does mean that Kingzone are going to be the ones that get the Rift Herald. There's no turret plates remaining, though. Oh, man, that feels sad.
Yeah, that reset is not
Oh,
good.
man, this is going to mean that Jace He's able to get here in time. Can he land an EQ on Aatrox?
It's a good snare, but Rascal is going to fall down. That's a great EQ like you were talking about. Ucal now able to dive forward. Cuzz, the Ignite's ticking and he is going to go down. Naehyun looking for that one, finds Kiin, Pop Blossom in. TusiN's now here to help, and Deft from below is exactly that. Shelly finally
We're
falls.
in solo queue now.
Yeah, we certainly are. TusiN trying to get over the wall, but he won't make it. It's another queue from downtown that locks down the Pyke.
I love this game. We have 24 kills in 15.
This is some LPL style, but this is exactly what both of these teams were talking about, right? They're both inspired by the fast and loose playstyle that G2 were winning with, right? This is what we should be expecting from this series.
And we're taking a look at the Mountain Dragon play, and one of the things that I haven't actually gotten to talk about is in these close condensed quarters, Wall of Pain actually helps amplify so much damage.
Oh yeah.
For Kingzone, and you can see TusiN on the west side, he's looking for a Pyke ultimate. Teleport was coming in from Aatrox. I think it would have been better positioned if it came in from mid lane and he got a sandwich. As you can see that it's not the most effective teleport coming in with his own team. If he had a flank, it would have been a little bit better. And then right here, Kingzone are a little bit overeager to try to get a kill onto Ucal. He ends up outplaying it.
It's a great move back there from Ucal just to make sure that TusiN went too far. And good follow-up from the rest of the team.
Kiin trying to put his teammates on his back. And Dread not able to quite land the knock-up right there in the end. So after all of this, one of the older unspoken things about what is transpiring here amongst these 24 kills is the Dark Harvest stacks for Karthus keeps ramping.
The more fighting you do around a Karthus, the better he's going to feel, just because exactly that.
Keeps getting damage.
Yeah. And now he's going to transition towards the top side. The Rift Herald is summoned. That was actually picked up in amongst all the chaos by TusiN. Now Afreeca looking to try and defend. Shelly will be able to get a charge. No plates as you illustrated earlier on. Sets herself up, moves her way down. Not going to be able to take the turret by any means. Afreeca, successful defense. No towers actually falling. Too many champions falling for any turret damage to actually be able to come in.
And this is one of the annoying parts that we're starting to see in the itemization. All the Merc Treads are starting to be completed on the side of Afreeca. Hex Shrinker already, another Null Magic Mantle picked up for Sejuani. And you have to imagine that Wit's End will come in on Varus.
The problem that I'm seeing from this Afreeca comp, though, is they've got no one that can build a Zhonya's Hourglass, right? They're going to have broken stopwatches most of the time. Stasis is so incredibly good against Pyke. And Pyke is going to be what these team fights are going to be about in the late stages for Kingzone, right? Cuzz goes in, he dies, Requiem, everyone gets low, and then Death from below mops everyone up, alongside Rascal doing so much AoE damage and having such ease to get that first kill, start that World Ender reset situation going. Like, you know exactly what Kingzone are trying to do with this composition, and Afreeca Freecs, yes, they can build all the Merc Treads that they want, but they're not going to be able to go golden at the right times to get these fights on their terms. As Kiin rotating up, the Bone Skewer's good. It's a fantastic stun to come through as well. Kiin knows that he has to try and fight, but he can't do it. Reset comes in on the Death from below. Dread now. Arctic Assault will get him over this wall if he wants to. See whether they actually want to fight as TusiN turns up. Arctic Assault doesn't land onto Dread. And now, Mountain Drake should go over to Kingzone very easily. Double Mountain is so good for this comp as TusiN. He had one more charge left. That was about to run out. And he's just going to use it to try and get some damage onto Dread.
So right now, that's the second Mountain Drake picked up for Kingzone.
How quickly does Baron go down at 20 minutes?
Really fast now.
That's, that sounds real scary.
Really, really fast. But, I mean, it also goes down really fast for both teams.
That's true.
So, Afreeca has a Mountain themselves. They also have Jace, Varus, and Aurelia. So, any pickoff is really, really scary. But, Double Mountain does tend to open up something that one Mountain doesn't, which is two-manning Baron. Yeah. So, Karthus and Aatrox should, in theory, be able to two-man it, which is something that Afreeca is going to have to respect, and I would like to see them swap to more blue trinkets in order to have the vision available on a moment's notice to be able to tell what's going on.
Another thing that's actually really cool about this Kingzone composition is that if Rascal and Cuzz are doing that together, right, the three that are left over from Kingzone's side have infinite wave clear, no matter where they are. Deft can be on the bottom side of the map, just puddling minion waves, stopping Kiin from pushing. and then can teleport to get into the fight. Naehyun, a very similar story, especially now that Super Soaker is done with that Glacial Augment. We've got double Glacial Augments. Controlling these team fights for Kingzone are actually going to be pretty easy.
Yeah.
As this game goes on, I'm just seeing more and more cool things about what Kingzone have put together in this composition. FLICKR as well, no slouches. The fact that they did manage to get the Aurelia Sejuani combo that is so incredibly good. The Varus as well has been something that Aiming has been playing very, very effectively. Interesting note is that over 8 games, Aiming's played 8 separate champions. The Varus game was a victory. TusiN takes a bit of damage there from the piercing arrow.
This is definitely still anyone's game at this point.
Okay. Tower, will it go down here? One auto, flies forward. Q not going to do too much there to Dread, but that's a hair's breadth away from falling. TusiN clears out some vision. We'll set up for another push. And on this one, that top outer will be falling down. It's only a turret falling in favor of Afreeca at the moment. However, the gold is still going to be slightly in favor of Kingzone. This series, incredibly close. We have to think back to Kingzone series against SKT. It was very similar to this in game number 1. Very close. But it was Kingzone taking those big plays towards the mid to late game that really got them over the line. Will they be able to do it against this Afreeca Freecs squad that have also been winning in a very similar fashion? It's all about proactivity, making the plays before your opponents. And it's great to see from the LCK, because this was some of the biggest criticism that any of our LCK teams got, is that we play too much for the 80-20s. We need to be taking more of the 60-40s.
Well, they definitely have in this game.
Oh, hell yes.
A lot of
I think we've been taking 40-60s in this game.
All right, so the game has entered into a little bit of a lull state right now, as neither team is really looking for that much action. We've sat on this kill amount for quite a while, and an open dragon coming up next, probably not going to create any sort of a team fate. Interestingly enough, Dread is actually really close to Cuzz in level, I believe, as Afreeca has priority to Karthus's Rubber Banded camps. I'm sure if they're actually going to get them. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it is actually TusiN here sort of ganking his own jungle to try and stop these Raptors from being stolen. Predator was utilized there. TusiN, of course, taking that one this time around. As that's a Bone Skewer onto Dread. He takes a fair bit of damage, and that's what happens. That Bone Skewer did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Because we've got a Spirit Visage coming in second for Dread. That is not going to be any sort of armor at all that he's picked up. His passive's going to help him there. Aftershock's going to help him there. But otherwise, Rascal and TusiN will be doing so much damage.
Wits End completed now for Varus.
Yeah, more of Malmortius is also done for Ucal.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you were talking about. They can build around the Karthus, but can they build around the Pike and the Aatrox? TusiN, fail flashes! He's going to get taken down very, very quickly in this fight.
Oh,
a lot of damage potential. Not there as the Karthus is obliterated. He's able to get some AoE off here as the Requiem does come in, but looks like a bit of a tilt Requiem, if anything. And now Afreeca are looking to take down the Baron. Half health bars on these guys as 3 members of Kingzone are here to defend. Will they be able to is the question. Dark Binding does land, taking Senan down relatively low. Super Soaker's coming in. They have a lot of control in these team fights, but the Baron's still going low. In goes Rascal. Pop Blossom comes forward. Double kill instantly for Naehyun. Infernal Chains aiming is just going to get taken down. Rascal's just too big. 500 gold comes forward, and Afreeca just too ambitious on the Baron.
Yeah, they were staying on that way too long. I thought for sure they were just going to try to charge at Kingzone instead, but they really seemed intent on trying to get the Baron, and now Kingzone can say, you know what? Let me show you what 2 Mountain Dragons can do.
Yep, 30 kills, 23.5 minutes into this game. Are you not entertained, LCK fans? We've been waiting for a meta like this, and finally we have one in Kingzone with 5 members in the pit. Everybody else coming back from base on Afreeca's side. This is Baron going to Kingzone, wrapped up neatly with a bow on top, 24 minutes into the game.
And I mean, that's such a swing in momentum now, because it's going to be very difficult for Afreeca to try to resist against the Baron push. So take a look at this replay. TusiN, he failed flashes, and then they actually managed to get Cuzz relatively simply.
Like, this was a huge win
yeah,
for Afreeca, right?
It's a huge win, and rather than doing the Baron, You can send your jungler to do the Gromp the Wolf camp. You can send someone to pick up the top wave and the incoming top wave, and then you can also get mid-tier 1 turret. You can take the wraiths as well, and you can plant someone down in bottom lane. There's no reason to flip the Baron like this, and if you're going to do this, I'm assuming that you'll turn on Kingzone, but instead, Kingzone are the ones taking the initiative, charging into the Baron pit as Afreeca. They're saying that they refuse to move off the Baron. And they're being really stubborn.
And it's the best time to beat all 3 of those champions from Kingzone as well. I mean, you're in a Baron pit, Soul Shackles, epic value. You saw the Pop Blossom from Naehyun. His Pop Blossoms have been amazing. He's just quietly 6-1-7 this game on the Nico that has really turned into his best performing champion here in the LCK, and one that probably needs a little bit more attention for a lot of our LCK teams, anywhere you put it on this map. And just with all the control they have with double Glacial Augment, just means that there's no way Afreeca can close distance, and Deft and Naehyun can decide when they want to go in and when they want to press their buttons and make things happen. And that is so dangerous on a Kingzone squad that is known for being epically proactive.
We'll see how proactive they can actually be with this Baron. As Karthus is really good at sieging, and so is Morgana. They do have to be really careful, though. And I'm not willing to say that this game is just over yet.
Oh, no,
Pyke,
it's only 3,000 gold,
yeah,
right?
Pyke is threatening with his ultimate, and they do have the combo with the Requiem. Only has a Duskblade of Draxar, though.
Yeah, Naehyun is going to go down into his Zhonya's. Teleport to follow up now as Requiem comes in from off to the side. Cuzz will get forward, but there are the resets. That World Ender is going to last forever. If they can even take any of his health bar, another one comes forward. Death from below is named real well this game, as Rascal will be able to take down this minion wave. The inhibitor turret is going to go down as well. Baron-empowered minions and a hell of a lot of damage, and Kingzone will break the base.
So Afreeca, they were unwilling to just be a little bit more patient. They took the fight in front of their dead tier 1 turret, thinking that it was going to be advantageous for them, but instead...
Well, I guess if they pop Naehyun and kill him before anything can happen, right, that is huge. Then they're in a 4v5, they can reset, get themselves back to a good situation. But that's 2 kills that lost them an inhibitor. That's so scary because Kingzone, if they get a little bit of time to follow up on any gank attempt like that, it's just instantly going to go their way.
We'll take a look at this one more time. Sejuani comes over the wall. Actually, everyone gets onto everything, but Naehyun's able to get into Zhonya's. And then right here, Dread, he ends up going down to TusiN. Resets, like you were talking about, they came in. And then at that point, it's really hard for Afreeca to do anything. So they tried to capitalize on an opportunity, not able to.
Yep, just straight up didn't happen. Naehyun's going to be so confident that a Magi Soul Stealer is in his back pocket. He's got his 3 activatable items that he feels really good about having that Glacial Augment, and is now just going to get more and more stacks. And if you can throw everything in the kitchen sink at him and not get the kill, then I think that Magi's is absolutely calculated and just the best choice.
Well, he's already at 10 stacks, so he's getting the Soul Stealer passive thingy-majiggy that I don't know. Do you know its name?
Soul Stealer passive thingy-majigger.
Is that it?
I think that's what it's called,
right,
yeah.
I
think
that.
that's a technical term.
Definitely needs to be renamed.
Yeah, or at least put it in with that name in Teamfight Tactics.
That needs to go on the PvE.
Yeah, definitely get that in.
Excellent.
See, look, we're just having the good ideas, man.
We are.
Yeah. Sign us up.
You want to hear what?
We need to pull a Jat. Let's go over to the balance team, or at least the skins team.
I like it.
Yeah, there we go. Well, Dread is being sandwiched as Deft lands the Dark Binding ever so easily. Bone Skewer's going to pull the piggyback as well. And
I don't know what he's doing.
He's dying.
He is dying.
He's taken a while to do so.
How
Aftershock's pretty strong, but that is just a very, very dead piggy in the wrong place at the wrong time.
They're like, Kingzone's like a bunch of poachers. They just killed Kevin Tuggle.
Yeah, I actually confused myself a lot because I said piggyback and it was out of context and very strange. However, Bone Skewer does do that. It pulls the piggy back. So
you call him the Boar Piggy?
Yeah.
All right, this is a piggy. Okay. I like that.
Kingzone take down an inner turret very easily. Bottom lane inner is still there. We'll see whether that's going to be the next target. 8,000 gold. Now the lead for our #1 team in the LCK. They have 100% control. The early game was chaotic, crazy, and very close. But this is anything but that.
Triple C.
Yeah, I really alliterated hard there, didn't I?
Oh, man.
People call me illiterate, but actually I'm illiterate.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know whether that's actually the correct use of that word, but that was an alliteration anyway. Okay. Kingzone moving their way back, just got a free reset, a lot of items being picked up. Mirrored items between Naehyun and Deft right now.
Sorkpen Elixir was picked up by Cuzz now, so I think that that's insinuating that he's intending for the Baron to then follow into the final push. He got as much damage as possible.
Spooky. Naehyun diving in, good knock up there from Rascal. Death from below is not going to find the reset, but Rascal will find it for himself. Naehyun flashing forward, huge pop blossom as he goes golden before anything else can happen. Deft is going to go into his Zhonya's at exactly the right time as well. Kiin wants to find it, should be able to get, no! Can't actually get anywhere forward because he's getting kited so beautifully. Rascal finishes off the Jace, and now Dread is in the wrong place. Guardian Angel there, Cuzz right ready to get rid of the Aurelia, and this should be the end of the game. And a really exciting game one between Afreeca and Kingzone Dragon X. Super minions hit the base, and the Nexus turrets will fall. We expected a lot from this series, and I think game one gave us exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, game one is really setting the tempo for what we're assuming could be a 3-game series.
It should be a 3-game series, I think, between these teams. I think the early game certainly illustrated that even though things go perfectly for the Karthus, Afreeca have inroads to get back forward. I think that Baron call was the first nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
But, you know, you go for 50-50 plays like that because that's the style that you want to be playing in. Afreeca have been outspoken saying they want to make proactive moves. That was the wrong one, but I'm glad they're making them anyway.
Yeah. Afreeca, that Baron play definitely cost them the game. I think that from that moment, they actually had quite a big lead, all things considered, because of the way that they would scale into the later stages of the game. But nonetheless, Kingzone, they were quick and proactive to capitalize on the mistake and then convert into Baron themselves. And then from there, everything was just really downhill.
It was. And this is after a draft where we asked a lot of questions, right, when it comes to Kingzone, because they picked all of their solos in jungle face-up, right? It was Aatrox, it was Karthus, and it was Nico.
Yeah.
And Afreeca could have done a whole bevy of things. I mean, there were a lot of champions not banned this game. Sona was available. Yuumi was available. Lux was available. They weren't picked up. They weren't utilized. This was a Kingzone squad that knew what they wanted. The Morgana Pike was beautiful because Morg picked first. You can put her in support if you feel like it. Like, there is flexibility then in the bottom side of the map. And then they just fashioned themselves the comp that they wanted to run after seeing all 5 champions on the Afreeca side. I think the Jace pickup was a question mark, but should be something that Afreeca Freecs can easily cover in game number 2.
We'll have to see if they can patch up the draft thing that happened here in game number 1 for game number 2. But Kingzone are definitely looking like they just want to play their own game. And I mean, they said that with their draft. They weren't really picking against their opponents. They were picking what they wanted to play, and they executed upon it inside of the game.
Yeah, they found a team composition that they thought worked really well. I thought it was absolutely amazing on paper. A lot of these awesome dude compositions run into problems that you don't necessarily have with your traditional 80 carry support lanes. But there was nothing about this Kingzone composition that had an issue, because they had teamfight control, aplenty in the Morgana Nico that had extra money for the Morgana, 3 items at the end of the game, and as you can see, these damage numbers, gigantic. Once again, it's Cuzz, top damage for his team from the jungle, but that's what you do on the Karthus, doubling that of his opponent. It was just a really fun game to watch and a really fun game to break down when it comes to the decisions made in the draft and then the way it was played out.
Yeah. Kiin, you probably feel a little bit bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Kiin was lane king to me, again.
Yeah. Well, it was 1v9, but he did very, very well in his laning phase especially. The problem was that Rascal just had a free transition into teamfights, which has been where he's been getting success.
Yeah.
His Camille play was sack lane entirely and then just ult the right person and win a teamfight after that. And they've done that consistently. He's played that a couple of times, a couple of victories coming in for him. So really exciting composition. I just want to see what Afreeca has to answer, because I know there's more fuel in the tank for these guys.
There definitely is. And I'm curious to see if Karthus will actually get banned in game number 2.
Yeah, in fact, the bans were really weird. Remember, Yasuo, Lee Sin, Sivir, Jax, Xayah. They were crazy bans. We'll see whether it happens in game number 2 right after this.
얘네 여기 쌈 보려고 해. 쌈 봐줘야 해. 쌈 봐줘야 해.
맞아줘. 나텔 찍었어. 나텔 찍었어 이거.
제이스 오픈. 이번에 잘 싸워야 된다 이거. 잘 싸워야 돼.
잘 싸워봐. 네, 한번 빼. 한번 빼봐. 네, 바로 치겠다 이거.
나 찍겠다 텔. 나 조냐 있고.
나 일단 핑커드는
나도
있는데.
핑크 하나 있어.
근데 이거 엄청 잘 싸워야 돼 근데.
세주 노궁이야 일단.
쌀만해 우리.
세주 노궁에 그
한 5천, 한 4천째 들어가.
나 2 있어 아직 2 있어.
노틸도 노궁이야. 노틸도 노궁.
네.
천천히 들어가 볼래? 들어가라 이제 들어가. 다 들어가.
오케이, 나이스.
바로 막았고.
말았어.
난 살았어.
여기 이래. 바로 잡았고 나 가는 중.
맞았어.
준비해야 돼.
우리 바론 가 우리가 보자
오케이
그러면.
우리가 보자.
아 이거 볼 수 있어요?
나 볼 수 있다.
나 2 있어. 제이트 높은. 갈 수 있어?
안 된다.
바론 가자 우리가. 가자 이거.
바론
바론 가야 해.
텔 찍었어.
이거 바로 스텔 있어 바로.